Toronto.
Vaccine exemption forms.
There's gotta be a law. There's gotta be a law.
There's gotta be a law.
I think that the vaccine is the pandemic.
Yeah, vaccines.
Bottom line.
Food and water and all this stuff. And
did you hear they're trying to suspend kids now without the vaccine? They're doing a new crackdown in Ontario.
That's their problem. Just say no.
Vaccine database crackdown. It's probably all related to, because remember we were talking a few weeks ago about how the new health ministry or whatever, they're doing the vaccine re-education program for parents that want to opt out.
Mm-hmm.
Want to opt their children out.
Wonder what strings they'll have to jump over to get through that, you know?
Yeah. Well, now they're working on Zika virus vaccine. Oh yeah, sure. The other one was shingles. They're promoting a shingles vaccine for seniors.
Come on, man. If I lived on my roof, fine, I would need maybe a vaccine for shingles, but I'm never out there. So
maybe your house is sick. It needs a vaccine for shingles.
Come out with a flu vaccine for dead people.
Yeah.
It was like a big headline was Ontario has waived the fee for seniors $150. So it's like, and that's all you see in the headline. So it's like they're trying to trigger seniors into thinking they're getting a $150 item. But it's what you're getting is a shingles vaccine.
Yeah.
This is how serious it's getting.
Yeah, and they're trying to get rid of the exemption forms too.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about because it's probably related to that vaccine re-education thing for the parents.
Yep.
Remember, it's like you have to attend a course now for, and then just to get an opt-out form, probably.
Oh boy.
This is what happens, and that's why at least Ben Carson dropped out of the race last week for U.S. Because remember, he was the only U.S. president guy that actually came out and said mandatory vaccines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, no matter what you think of Donald Trump, he's right up there. And he predicted him and Hillary Clinton are going to clash at the top.
That'll be a good debate. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good entertainment.
Oh, yeah. But I put a link up there, Newt Gingrich, talking about Trump, now how he's not part of the establishment. He's uncontrollable. He's not part of the club.
Yeah, part of that's true, and then other part is that he actually is part of the club just because like they're all in the same country club. Probably he's like got all the top corporation and bankers and stuff are probably members of his own golf club or whatever. He did say that he's not going to be playing much golf. And the other thing is they can't really control him with speeches because he doesn't even prepare speeches. He just talks.
Yeah.
That's the most amazing thing, I think, is that I think that's probably the politicians in the old days probably used to be able to do it too. But
yeah.
Right now they all rely on teleprompters except for Trump seems to actually just say what he thinks.
Yeah.
So in that sense, he's a real guy.
Yeah, but let us dispel with this myth that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's the Marco Rubio robot line. Just keep saying that line over and over. Melts down.
Little Marco, that's what Trump calls him, little Marco.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about Bush being in the race now.
Yeah, he dropped that too. Trump called for Marco Rubio to drop out yesterday too when he didn't win any states.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like him and Kasich will. But
yeah,
most likely it's going to be Donald Trump and Lion Ted. He calls him Lion Ted Cruz.
Trust Ted.
Yeah, I do notice that he's got those red TED letters. Makes it seem like a TED Talk. Yeah, he's trying.
Yeah, it looks like a TED Talks. It's so yeah.
He's trying to cash in on the scam of TED Talk.
He's got to be the most compulsive liar on the stage, and it's can't trust Ted.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a guy you would trust at all. Like,
no. I think he might be the biggest liar out of all the groups. Like, they're all pretty well liars, but it's just he seems to be the biggest liar of them all, and it says trust Ted. It's just hilarious.
In Ted we trust, right, on the coin.
I don't know.
And Bernie Sanders is a new, what's it? A new hope a future you can believe in.
Yeah, right.
Instead of change you can believe in, it's a future you can believe.
A future you can believe in.
Yeah, I just changed the wording around.
Yeah. Because with Bernie Sanders, that's the interesting part is that if either Sanders or Trump get in, they'd be the oldest president ever elected.
Why? I don't see. This is what I don't understand. Why the big Bernie Sanders push? I mean, they already got hope and change with Obama.
And the most surprising is that he's got the youth behind him, and he's the oldest guy ever.
This old white guy, and he's got Black Lives Matter, and
I guess Ron Paul had a lot of youth behind him too, and he was even older. But apparently Ronald Reagan was 69 when he entered, and Trump is like 70, so he'd be a year older than Reagan.
I just don't understand why they're not demanding that Obama stays in, because Obama did such a good job. Why aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I thought, because he's like not even 60 yet, right? So he could stay in like 20, 30 years.
If the right crisis came along, yeah.
I did hear a rumor he's going down to Cuba for the baseball game. Maybe it was the MLB baseball game they're hosting in Cuba.
Well, he deserves a little time off, you know?
Yeah, maybe go to his new resort at Guantanamo.
So are all the Bernie Sanders supporters going to flood into Ontario after Bernie doesn't get elected?
Yeah, and I heard Cape Breton Island is promoting now, apparently, for
free school or Trump Dodgers.
Yeah, Trump Dodgers. They want all Americans that don't want Trump.
Well, you got the Trump Dodgers, right? That want to. Cape Breton is talking about extending a hand out for all these people that want to dodge Donald Trump. They can move to Canada to Cape Breton, but here's the thing: the Sanders supporters, they all like the free tuition nonsense, right? Which is there's no such thing as, but. The Ontario government has announced that they're providing free tuition. So are we going to get an influx of Bernie Sanders supporters moving to Ontario? And then also all the students from BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and all the way over to the East Coast, are they all going to rush to Ontario for free education, free college, and free university? I don't know. See, we already got Bernie Sanders. It's Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've also revealed that they're spending, wasn't it it's over $1 billion on the whole term of the refugee project? So, what's a few more billion for the Trump refugees that could come up?
The whole free college tuition thing in Ontario, it's a bit of a scam and a ripoff, because what it's basically going to do is it's going to cause all the working class to pay for all this through their taxes. And many of these working class people didn't receive a college education or university education, or if they did, they already paid for it. Many of these working class make minimum wage or just above minimum wage, right around the poverty line, and their taxes are going to be taxed more heavily to help pay for somebody's liberal arts degree. I mean, I see it as somewhat immoral. They're going to steal from people to pay for somebody's supposed free college or free education. There's no such thing as free unless these teachers decide to waive their pension and waive their salary and go to work for nothing. There's no such thing as free school. It costs money. Yeah, so I have a bit of an issue considering there's a large size of the workforce that is not college or university educated. They have lower paying jobs, and it's not fair to make these people pay for somebody else's pipe dream. of going to DJ college, be another out-of-work DJ in Toronto. Or maybe they'll have a few gigs where they get a free beer to spin for 3 hours. It's ridiculous. No, it's true. And Toronto's a great example of that, of thousands of unemployed DJs that can't make a dollar. They can get a gig playing for nothing, playing for a couple of free beers.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to get. You're going to get the working slaves having to subsidize these schools and these classes that amount to nothing. So I don't know. It's going to be a big problem. I predict an influx of students or prospective students coming to Ontario to get their quote-unquote free education. So yeah, I don't know, guys. You might as well sign up now because you're going to pay for it anyway.
Free brainwashing? Hey, why not?
Well, what about all the celebrities, though? That was the other news. Including Miley Cyrus.
Smiley virus is going to move where? She better not come to Canada. Don't we have you can't have people with a bunch of STDs immigrating in here, can you?
That's why we need to know the refugee screening process here for.
Yeah, if Smiley virus wants to come into Canada, she better get her STDs checked, and I don't know, maybe give her an island way up north, like a frozen chunk of ice, and she can stay there. Keep her quarantined. Baffin Island, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we need to vet these refugees before we let them. And basically, if Trump follows through with his threat that he's going to crack down on all the illegal immigrants, isn't that like 15 million people or something? 20 million people? It's like, where are they all going to go? They'll have to come to Toronto and Vancouver, probably.
Sanctuary cities in Canada.
Montreal. Yeah. Anywhere on the list of sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's where Trudeau... Now we know why Trudeau is investing in drone technology, the Canadian military. So they can probably patrol the border with drones. Which would be more advanced than a wall. I don't know if it would work as well, but...
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if people may not like Trump building the wall, but I mean, the other people that are prospectively could get elected here in the United States... It looks like they would definitely continue driving the economy into the gutter as it is now. And if the American economy gets bad enough, you would see possibly Canada and Mexico build a wall on their own accord to keep the Americans out of their country. So either way, I think the walls could be inevitable. You get Trump, he's promising to build a wall. You get the other guys, well, they're promising to continue the economic suicide, which will just cause Canada and Mexico to build their own wall on their own accord, because to keep them damn Americans out. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm being a little bit satirical here.
The Vatican's surrounded by walls. Israel's surrounded by walls. Got the Great Wall of China. So they can definitely build huge walls, but I'm just not sure if it would work, because people could always build a big ladder to climb over.
Yeah, you can build a big ladder, you can build a big staircase, you can build a big elevator, a catapult, cannon with a parachute, you could fly over with...
You have seen the makeshift battering rams they're using the refugee camps to break through the fences.
Ah.
They showed that. It was in, where was it, Greece or Hungary or...
They could get on a boat. You're going to build a wall around the north and south, east and west coast?
Yeah, that's true. They'll have to increase Coast Guard as well. Coast Guard. And once we step into the climate invasion, then it's going to be... that's when you're going to see the most refugees. Climate refugees.
Yeah. Climate fugees.
Because, well, they did show that there is a pause, though, 18-year pause in global warming. So we know that there is a scam with climate change. But apparently, even did you hear this? That the Ontario Conservative Party is meeting in Ottawa this week. So they're doing their annual meeting, right? And apparently, Patrick Brown has stood against the carbon tax, but he does believe in the price on carbon. No, yeah, he believes on a price on carbon. He's just against the cap and trade system. That's so what
really?
A scam here. He just wants a different system, but it's still the same price on the carbon, so we're screwed either way.
Yeah, they're a joke.
Liberal, conservative, it's all, and even NDP is the most into the green. So
the whole climate refugee propaganda. They take a look at some island in the middle of the ocean. It's not even an island. It's like an atoll. It's basically a sandbar barely clinging to life. That waiting for the next wave to wash the sandbar into the ocean. It's like, well, sea levels are rising. No, if sea levels were rising, they would be rising worldwide, not just at one sandy atoll. No, it is called erosion. They're called waves. So a tiny little minuscule sandy atoll with some people on it having to leave. That's not a climate refugee. I'm sorry.
But how about an Air Force base on the island of Guam?
Again, you mean it could capsize, right?
Yeah, or tip over, yeah.
Tip over, capsize, yeah.
Yeah, like a seesaw.
Tip over. Yeah, so they're either they're gonna flood out or capsize, one of the two, right?
Yeah. Crap and trade, it is.
So that's the thing with the flooding nonsense. It's like there's no evidence of worldwide flooding from the oceans. So whenever they point to one geographical area and that's the only place anything's happening, it's happening there for a geological reason. And with these islands in the middle of nowhere that are disappearing, they're not proper islands. They're atolls. They're sandbars. They were made by the waves, and they were taken away by the waves. This happens all the time. I mean, wave erosion is tremendous. And then you have other geological instances where you have actual tectonics play a part in it. So, you've got massive earthquake in Japan, and the whole continent basically shifts a few meters. That wasn't the sea level rising. You know what I mean? Like the earth moved. Mm-hmm. So you get this all the time, or they'll point to Holland or something, or just certain geological areas where there's something happening to the land sinking lower. Mm-hmm. The ocean levels are not rising because they would be rising worldwide. Yeah. But they always point to it's rising 1 millimeter per year, so it's hard to measure. No, you can't measure a millimeter rise in ocean level. You can't measure that. It's unmeasurable. And people would say, well, how come? What do you mean? You can measure the depth. You can measure the height. No, not with the tides.
Yeah.
Vary so much from,
That's
and
true.
They're always different. You can't measure with a millimeter degree of accuracy. It's asinine. So it's a straw man argument that the UN's created for this. But
yeah.
Well, I think we're lacking in water, really. If you ever go by Ontario Place there and you just look over where the bike path is, Daniel, mm-hmm. and you look into the water, you could see the grass and you could see plants.
Yeah, that's true. I don't, the actual, when you look up close at Lake Ontario, it is a bit scary how green it is, but.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you always hope, I guess you always think of the beach when you see crystal clear water in the Caribbean or something, and it's like you go down to the beach in Toronto, it's like a mucky green.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Caribbean is sort of like an aqua color.
Yeah, exactly. It's like blue, and you see,
yeah, exactly.
And then when you get up close, it's clear. But here, it's not. It's definitely not clear. So you take a bottle full of it, and you'll pull it up. It'll be cloudy, and they're finding it's all full of microbeads and stuff now, just because of.
Well, sometimes when you go into when you go into the shore, it looks kind of cloudy. Then it looks a little bit more blue as you go out. Right.
Yeah.
Different shade as you go out into the deeper.
Yeah, it
spots.
looks nicer when you look in the distance.
Yeah. Maybe it's all the same.
They want to take all that away. That's why they're building all those huge buildings downtown.
Yeah.
They probably want to turn Ontario Place into a condo zone anyways, too, because they shut down the whole park part of it.
Yeah, is it still shut down?
The amusement park part. Yeah, I think the only thing they have is that IMAX Cinesphere. I think just they're only keeping it because it was one of the first ones ever made.
Yeah,
like it's a historic thing, but it's not that old. It's like from the 70s, right? But it's like, oh, it's an original IMAX.
Yeah,
and it's like an Epcot Center dome. Remember Epcot Center and
yeah,
like
it's
Disneyland?
true,
And it's you go in there and it's a New World Order scene because it's all the world, different cultures of the world.
yeah. I've been in there 2-3 times.
Looks like a giant Christmas ornament, like how they made the Cinesphere at the IMAX one at the Ontario place.
Oh, it was a very popular place when it was open.
Mm-hmm.
Had the Lantern Festival, Chinese Lantern Festival.
Yeah, I remember there was a log ride and there's a maze. There's the mega maze.
Yeah. Lots of entertainment, and it was great.
These were Ontario's parks.
No park anymore.
Yeah, well, they'll redevelop it. Oh, yeah, the amphitheater's down there, too. They always have the classic rock or whoever they're bringing in, Ovo Fest or...
some of the big names, yeah.
Yeah, but they'll probably bring in Miley Cyrus as a Trump dodger. Who else was there? There's a few. I don't know, probably Michael Moore, or you'll probably find a few.
I think he came out with another movie or something like that.
Yeah. It got bad reviews though. It was it's basically he goes around the world and finds different socialist scams and says how America could be better if they took this approach.
Yeah, that's like saying that you like China's dictatorship.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. So Trudeau would understand this kind of movie because he'd say this is the approach we're going for.
Yeah, really.
Did you hear about 60 Minutes though? He's going to be on tonight. Trudeau.
Yeah, that's right. I heard.
When's this marijuana supposed to be legalized? He said he was going to legalize weed, and I guess all the potheads already forgot about it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he did say that he now has to deal with international law, so he's got to take a time out on his plan.
Yeah, well, he's not going to go against that.
The
He's a
UN
UN whore.
It's like something that if you had brought this up to him on the campaign trail, he would probably just stare at you like and just ignore your question.
He signed on to
like,
the
you're
UN.
you're bringing up my excuse. Like you can't ask me about this before I get elected.
Yeah, he signed on to the UNPA, so he's not going to violate that. I doubt it.
That is one of the most hilarious clips of all of Canadian Awareness. I think it's Canadian Awareness has the clip. Terry Wilson asked him about that, and then he Trudeau at first denies being signed up to the UN thing, and then he actually walks up to him later.
Yeah,
it's usually always the other way around. Is that the reporter walks up to the person. This one, Trudeau walks up to him and says he's part of it, and he says it's a great organization.
Yeah.
It's like it's a great organization. It's none of the things you say it is.
How's he gonna legalize weed when he's whoring himself out to these whores?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he doesn't even remember what he's a part of. That's why you can't trust him on his Bilderberg quote. Because remember, he said he's not planning on going there, but if he doesn't even remember what he signed up to, then he might have already been to Bilderberg. It's just conveniently he's forgotten he's part of that organization.
Right. Yeah, I don't know about Trudeau and the Bilderberg, but he definitely, he at least pretends that he's all chummy with the UN and all their edicts. But so it kind of conflicts with his pot legalization thing, and I'm just been skeptical the whole time that he would even go against his UN buddies with the pot thing. I think it was just an empty election promise. And that's what I predicted. And so far, that's what it's been. So we'll see. Maybe he's hanging on. In the next election, he'll re-promise legalizing weed again and run on it a second time.
Yeah, because in the meantime, all the pot entrepreneurs or, the Green Rush or whatever, all these people cashing in on it, and then some of them were actually the cannabis activists that are actually still, that now see it as legal, are actually just opening up dispensaries and compassion clubs, vapor lounges everywhere. So if they continue on with the prohibition, if they never legalize, then they're going to have a huge, basically a huge market of just places to shut down.
Yeah, as far as I know, the police are still busting people for marijuana since Trudeau's gotten in. So
yeah,
like
on
they're
raiding,
busting.
that's where.
Yeah, they're busting like college kids and stuff like this, busting their dorms down for a half an ounce of weed or something like, and these in the paper. And you're like, really? I mean, I thought you guys quit doing that stuff a long time ago, but I guess not.
Trudeau busters. Because they do have a scam where the liberal insiders are part of the biggest licensed producers, because they've given a few companies the right to license produce.
Right.
And basically anyone that's outside of that system would be affecting their profit. Their bottom line. So they want to... They want to shut down anything that can't be like totally controlled or regulated, and that's where it's looking towards more like Kathleen Wynne says the LCBO could be the place, but apparently Shoppers Drug Mart has come out saying they want they see a role for the pharmacist to dispense the
Yeah, but they won't even sell. They're not even allowed to sell cigarettes.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
No, exactly. So it's BS. The pharmacist is going to sell it. Well, okay, but how come the pharmacist isn't allowed to sell cigarettes?
Exactly.
The pharmacist, you should be able to. My point is that the pharmacy should be able to sell it, but so should they should be able to sell cigarettes. They'd be able to sell whatever the hell they want, and so should the other stores. It shouldn't be confined to only these stores are allowed to sell. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Kathleen Wynne and the liquor monopoly mafia. Let her get her grubby hands on the marijuana industry. I don't know. But right now, there is no legit marijuana industry really in Canada. It's mostly illegitimate.
Yeah.
And even if they do this monopoly thing, it's not going to work to their benefit. Anyone can grow marijuana, and anyone will, and everyone will continue to grow it on their own. And they're not going to go to Shoppers Drug Mart. They're not going to go to the liquor store to buy their marijuana. Most likely not. They're going to have to somehow provide better marijuana for a cheaper price with taxes included than the street price, and they can't do it. So
no.
I think their whole thing is a failure, and it's going to be a failure if they even go there, because according
an increase in the drug war.
Well, according to international law, marijuana is against international law. So they I doubt Trudeau and Wynne are going to go for this. They're UN whores. They're just UN puppet whores. That's all they are. Much like the Conservative Party. So.
And we know what Bill Blair did at the G20. So.
Yeah, they'd have to rename it Shoppers Joint Mart.
Shop Pot Mart.
Illicit drugs.
No, it is. Just call it the same thing. Shoppers Drug Mart. Get your drugs there.
Yeah, get your marijuana over the counter.
Why not? They sell heroin there, so they don't call it heroin, but they basically sell heroin there. So opium derivative in pill form.
The clampdown now is on the e-cigarettes and vaporizers, because I think they've found too many people enjoy it, and people can do it in public, so they want to clamp down on it.
You know what? The thing is, there is now that it's been around a while, there has been some people who have had some very adverse side effects right off the hop. So some people can't deal with whatever the hell they're vaporizing.
Yeah, because there's bad chemicals. That's where the danger is.
They claim it's safer, but I know there are a lot more reports now of people who can't vape at all. They can't vape.
Oh, no. That's scary, too, because you don't know. Yeah, it's like you're putting in a liquid thing, and then you don't know what the vapor turns into in your lungs, I guess. You don't know.
Yeah.
Especially when it's full of chemical.
There are some mild allergic side effects that people have reported, but the less widespread side effects, but more severe, are basically like an asthma attack. Like people start vaporizing, and it's similar to an asthma attack, where it's restricting their lungs, restricting their breathing. And some people were stupid enough not to take the signs, as a warning, and just continued vaporizing. Maybe they went to their doctor and said, "Well, should I switch back to smoking?" No, no, no. And it's like, well, doctor, what the hell is in this? Well, I don't know. Okay. So there have been people who have had both lungs collapse and die and all this other crap, and it's not widely reported. And I know a lot of the pro-vaporing people won't be too happy about this kind of news, but it is happening. So I'm not.
That's
I've
tough.
known cigarettes where somebody, instant asthma attack from cigarettes and their lungs shut down instantly. It's over a number of years and of smoking cigarettes where it slowly does damage. Not instantaneously, especially not somebody who's a smoker, does some vaping and then has their lungs shutting down. And as soon as they quit the vaping, everything goes back to normal. So there's obviously some severe negative reactions that the doctors are not warning people about. It's only other vapors.
Yeah, that's a tough problem with bad health, but the pot entrepreneur could always cash in on a combination vaporizer e-cigarette asthma inhaler. Combine them.
A combo. Yeah, I don't know.
Just inhale it all.
Now, vaporizing marijuana, I don't think would have the effect of the e-cigarette. And if it was some weird chemical marijuana liquid, yeah, different story.
That's
but
another danger if the Shoppers Drug, or like if pharmacists take over, is will it actually still be an organic plant, which they don't really work with as much, or as a synthetic thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what is Shoppers Drug going to start selling?
Well, look over where is it? In Europe, they got this stuff called spice. It's like synthetic marijuana, and it's making people crazy.
Yeah, that's another scary one.
Yeah, it's spice. It's weird. You'd have to look it up, but that is messed up. And that's
good
legal
for World Star hip hop, but other than that, I don't know.
It is. Spice is good for World Star hip hop. But what's crazy is that this spice crap is legal over the counter over in Europe. Messes people up beyond belief, makes them crazy. Some of them permanently crazy. And but weed is illegal. So I don't know. It's like they're encouraging doing something way worse. That's way more damaging. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I saw this documentary on these Spice Kids. Or these British kids that were doing this drug called Spice, and it looked like an herb or something. It was just some synthetic crap, trying to mimic marijuana. And I guess they gave them a buzz, but it was a lot weirder, and it appeared to cause psychosis, kind of like meth or that bath salt stuff does.
Yeah.
Same like with sniffing glue.
Sniffing glue, yeah.
Yeah, remember that back in the 70s?
Yeah, we're way beyond sniffing glue now.
Yeah.
Sniffing glue's for lightweights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just quit sniffing glue.
Elmer's glue.
Yeah. They do have to put the safety thing on a lot of those hand sanitizers, though. They were finding people are drinking the hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Yeah, because the alcohol volume, yeah.
Drinking hand sanitizer. It's a Canadian pastime.
Don't light a match. Oh, that stuff is flammable. I'm saying don't light a match. You go poof.
Hey, let's go down there to the community center. We'll watch the hockey game and drink some hand sanitizer.
Hey.
That's why it was revealed years ago that Idiocracy was the most prophetic movie we've seen.
Yes. President Camacho. President Camacho 2016, I endorse him.
Yeah, he could go independent. There was Jesse Ventura did talk about going independent as well, or I guess he's always has, but he did again this week.
You have to wait and see what the verdict is on that.
Because he said if Bernie Sanders doesn't get in, then he could see some of the Sanders supporters supporting him as an independent rather than going for Hillary. Because he says Sanders is doing an all right job of exposing her ties to Wall Street and stuff. But he doesn't. The one thing Sanders doesn't do is get into the crime, the Hillary for prison stuff. And that's because Ventura said that he actually talked to feel the burn, and Sanders said he's going to endorse Hillary, even if he doesn't win, he'll endorse. Like if she wins, then.
Right, he's going to endorse the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, so it's a scam.
Yeah, and Bernie doesn't like to do things like get into the math of all his promises. No. Other people have done the math, gotten into it, and it's just absurd. The promises and the math, you can't do it. Hillary actually was in debates, questioning on how he's going to afford all these promises, and she's right. I mean, it's ridiculous, all the things he's promising. Where are you getting this, dude?
Yeah, well, that's why it's a future you can believe in. It's not the present. It's not going to happen now. It'll just happen sometime
in the future. No, but I understand why the youngsters like it, because he's promising all this free stuff, and there's no such thing as free stuff.
Yeah.
And mathematically, he can't deliver on it. There's no possible way. We've done the math. It's impossible. He's out of his gourd. And he won't answer the math quiz. So, I don't know. Even if you tax the top 1% at 100%, which leaves them flat broke and poor and homeless, it won't pay for it. Even if you tax the top 10% at 100% and make them the bottom percent, you still can't pay for it. It's just absurd. It's like that. There's some idiot running around advocating that Canada just pay everyone that's 50 and over $1 million to retire early. And then there'll be all these empty job spaces for everybody else. And it's like, I can't remember what it worked out to, like $10 trillion, $30 trillion, or some ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you could always try to sell Quebec to the Chinese or something, but that'd probably only be a one-time sale.
Well, I don't know how much. I can't remember what the math worked out to. I don't know if it was 10 trillion or 30 trillion or something, but it was just.
How much could you get for Baffin Island? Maybe a few billion.
You know what happens if you hand out $10 trillion to pay everybody 50 and older to retire and not work anymore? The $1 million becomes completely worthless. Maybe it buys you $100,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
It'll cause such massive inflation that it'll be the equivalent of $100,000, maybe even less. You're gonna live the rest of your life off $100,000 from the age of 50, and that's being conservative. What if it's only buys you $10,000 worth of stuff?
Yeah, this is why Robert Mugabe might be the greatest dictator on earth.
Well, the national debt's around $1 trillion, so you're going to 10 times the national debt instantly and give everyone it won't have the desired effect. I know where they're going with this. A lot of old people like it. They're like, yeah, I want $1 million. It's like, no, it's going to cause super massive inflation. Your $1 million will be worth $100,000 in the blink of an eye the minute you're paid. I mean, it's.
Well, that's one thing I don't think Ventura would. He'd probably be more careful with the money than that.
Right. Well, there was some Canadian advocating this, and it was just ridiculous. And people buy into this crap, and it's like, just do the math. Why don't you do the math? You're all for it. You're making all these arguments why this is a good idea, but do the math.
Oh, the scary one, too, is England, as the opposition leader has it as People's QE, he calls it. But it's a similar thing where it's just paying people.
Well, now
he runs the Labour Party now, Corbyn.
The Ontario government's talking about a guaranteed income.
Ah.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means. Everyone gets paid, even if you have no job.
Yeah. Then
everyone
gets a minimum,
and everyone gets free college and university, and then they still get paid after they get out of there and still have no job qualifications, so they just get paid. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's the ones
Well-
that get out. There is other characters that never leave. You actually see them. They just keep going to different university classes.
Yeah, you might as well just we'll get the guaranteed income and become career students. And we'll
At least
have
you'd always be learning. So
we'll have Canada looking like North Korea in no time.
yeah, Kim Jong-un, Pierre Dong Trudeau.
Pierre Dong Trudeau, Kim Jong-un, Orville Redenbacher, Emperor Orville Redenbacher.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's that was one of the best things they can come up with. Actually, is that his it was either his grandfather or it might have been his great grandfather changed the last name from Drumpf to Trump. That because the John Oliver. Did you see the rant he did on anti-Trump?
No, I didn't know.
Well, he did a recent one. It was like a 20-minute rant, but that's one of the things. And he goes wild on Donald Trump. He's bought all these URLs and stuff. He's got a whole online campaign. All this Donald Trump. He's got a full thing of merchandise, and now even he's trying to cash in. But it's not on the Trump name. It's on the Trump. So everyone's trying to make some money. That's one thing in the U.S. election that they do more than the Canadian election is they can actually make money on the candidates. Like people could just stand in front of the rally and sell like a T-shirt, Trump T-shirt, Obama T-shirt, whatever.
Yeah, I saw that even in Toronto, like with Obama, people were making their own Obama gear. People were printing their own Obama T-shirts, and just going out and selling it. Like none of it's going to Obama. They're just raking in money off his whatever. It's so easy.
They're not going to be able to do it with Hillary. She's not popular like that.
Yeah, but I mean, they just copy images off the internet, grab them, print them out, and away they go. Right? It's not an official anything. It's just.
Did you hear a guy on Alex Jones that bought the Hillary for Prison T-shirt? But you know how convincing it is. People don't see the prison part. Because it looks like it could be president, right? And the guy calls in saying he knows like someday some guy's just gonna like attack him just for thinking he's a Hillary fan. He's actually because he goes to all like the Trump rallies and he's wearing the Hillary for Prison shirts, but
right.
It's a convincing shirt because I bet you they're selling more of those than they are for the Hillary for President shirts. They probably have to give away as a free gift, but Hillary for Prison ones actually have a price tag probably. It's at least that's one campaign, and they're actually Ezra Levant in Canada has got a Fire Win campaign. You can actually get a lawn sign if you want. Fire Win.
Firewin.ca.
I don't know if it totally makes sense though, because you can't really fire the elected leader. You just got to wait for the next election.
Yeah, well, I mean, all I can say is the Ontario public that voted that thing in deserve everything they get. It wasn't. None of this was hidden. She's a blatant tyrant, going to tax and spend us to oblivion, and this was all. It was all out in the forefront before they elected her. And they elected her, so they're idiots. I don't know what to say. At least if they had tried a different party, they could say, well, okay, well, they got rid of the Liberals, and they're going to try somebody new. But no, we basically committed economic suicide by voting in Kathleen Wynne. But what else is new?
Yeah, and well, they can always rig the election too because. It's like as close as Trump gets, they could always just rig it on him. And
yeah, they can steal. I think they can steal the nomination from Trump, like they did it to Ron Paul, so they can do it to him.
Mm-hmm. At least he is the one candidate though that has talked about the missing part of the 9/11 Commission. That is one thing. It doesn't. He's not totally a 9/11 truther, but it does make a. He at least cares about the investigation of 9/11 still. So.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah, and he apparently retracted his waterboarding statements.
Yeah, well, or he said it's going to be within the law, because I guess he probably just took it for granted that they thought he'd be talking about within the law, but He did say, though, that he wants to broaden the law, which is scary, though, because then it could be, like, they don't even need to, like, accuse you of anything or whatever to be trying to get the information out of you. If they broaden the law, it could get too intense. But that is the one thing, though, that Bush and Obama should have been doing already, though, is broadening the law, because what they've been doing is illegal. Like, the Bush administration, the Obama administration have been continuing it, so that's one thing I could say. It's the best debates, though, I've ever seen of elections. Not really for the issues, just for the entertainment, like for the argument aspect.
The entertainment value, it's the best one, but yeah, it looks like a giant clown fight.
Yeah.
Just a big clown fight is what it seems to be.
Yeah. And the one thing with Trump is that he's a bit too, the way he keeps on talking about how he's going to be the best president ever for the military, he's gonna give them whatever they want. Then because the military already costs America like the most, so it's like whatever they want is going to be more trillions.
Yeah.
It's going to get intense if he's a bit like that, but I guess he's got to say what he's got to say to get in, and then the only thing he could do is hope that he'd be more cautious with the money, because it's like basically it's not going to the people.
No.
Didn't Trump, somebody told me that Trump or founded the group One Direction, and now One Direction's gone debunked. So if he can't even handle that situation, what else can he handle?
Yeah.
Boy band One Direction?
Yeah, he founded them. Yeah.
Really?
From what someone told me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe distantly, though, but he's like, he owns, once you get to the level that he is, where he's working with billions of dollars, is that he would own all these companies, but he can't really control them. Like, he can't micromanage what they're doing on a thing.
Yeah.
It always goes up to the top, and especially if he's president, too, all this stuff, like, he's going to have to know how to micromanage it, but there have been a few scandals. The other one was that he had brought in foreign workers to work in his one of his resorts in Florida. And that's one of the things he's been railing against, right? But if he's going to own a resort and bring in the temporary foreign workers, then...
So those walls have to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he needs the temporary workers to build them in the first place, probably, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they can come in through the door.
Yeah, go have a door built into it.
It's going to be it's going to be a beautiful door. It's going to be a golden door.
And when they're done building it, they can leave through the door.
Make sure it doesn't hit you on the way out.
Yeah, but they're going to, I don't know.
Local news in Toronto tries to report on Trump, so they'll go to the lobby of the Trump Tower, because it's the only thing we've got in Toronto with the name Trump on it.
As long as they keep an eye on that antenna that's wobbling up there.
Yeah, and a few of the windows, right? Don't they sometimes snap and the glass shatters, and just on the balcony. I guess they make glass balconies, which is always a dangerous thing in Toronto with the high winds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you get the wind tunnels going through that area? And it's just, they're really bad. It's like a hurricane.
He could do a remodeling job on the White House, like how Trudeau's doing a remodeling on the Prime Minister house. Trump could do like a glass White House, maybe, or
paint over those pink walls. You know what I mean?
Pillars, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe Trudeau could put in a little Agenda 21 sustainable village with a bunch of shed houses there for people.
Yeah, they could have, each nanny could have a different micro unit.
Yeah, their own shed to live in.
Yeah, but that's with the lawnmower and the rake and everything else. What do you want them to live in there for?
I don't know. Got to save the planet somehow.
Well, if they have 3 kids and 2 nannies, And I don't know how old if the wife is still in her 30s, she could be still having more kids, or early 40s, she could still have a few more kids, right?
Sure.
So they'll need more nannies, more kids too. They could give them each a pod, one of those Earth ships, maybe an underground Earth ship.
Well, she's his wife's quite the entertainer. She likes to sing.
Yeah, and apparently she'd done a joke about dancing, but she didn't. She decided not to dance because of the way they treated her after she sang, an impromptu singing.
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an MLK Junior event or something, was it?
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear his wife sing. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Try to steal the thunder at MLK Day, and it's like, look, nobody wants to hear you sing. Nobody cares.
It's I Have a Dream, and the other coincidence is now Trudeau is trying to stockpile drones, or he's trying to get Canadian military drones. So
Nice.
it's an I Have a Drone speech.
I have a drone.
Who's this lady?
I have the tiger. I have the drum.
Feel when you smile back at me, when you smile back at me.
Guys, we'll talk to you guys later on.
All right.
Okay,
we'll
talk
do
to you
this
later.
eventually.
Angry
Okay.
Beaver Radio.
Thank you very much, guys.